Strathmore native Tracy McMath would have turned 52 years old this week. The name may be unfamiliar to many of you because Tracy and her unborn son were murdered more than 3 decades ago near a U.S. military base in Germany. But thanks to the efforts of a Visalia man, Tracy's story is back in the public eye, and the U.S. Army has taken notice. In a story you'll see only on Action News, South Valley reporter Brian Johnson explains why hopes of getting justice for Tracy have never been so high.
When they finally entered the German apartment, authorities found Tracy McMath face down in the bathtub, naked, bound, and dead. The 20-year-old Central Valley native's unborn baby also died. More than 31 years later, her murder remains unsolved. Last fall, Visalia's David Harrell saw a photo of Tracy. He grew up with her brother Jimmy, and her future husband Wayne in Strathmore. Recently, he asked the United States Army to take a closer look at the tragic case.
I devote pretty much every day something towards this case every day.
Harrell remembers hearing about Tracy's murder in Mannheim, Germany, and learning that her brother Jimmy, an Army specialist working at the Armed Forces Network in nearby Frankfurt, had been charged with her murder as well as larceny. Jimmy arrived in Mannheim to visit his sister on Sunday, September 27th, while her husband Wayne, also in the Army, was away on training. Doctors believe Tracy likely drowned the same day.
The people who were supposed to give them justice and find the killer or killers really let them down.
From the moment he met him, a young, ambitious Army defense attorney named Kyle Krull knew Jimmy couldn't be a killer. Krull and co-counsel Timothy Schultes constructed an alibi-centered defense. A German woman told the court that she talked to Jimmy at a bowling alley while he waited for his sister to pick him up. At that same time, someone used Tracy's teller card in Kaiserslautern, about 40 miles away.
He didn't have the physical ability to do it. Can't be more than one place at a time. And where was the motive? Why would he kill his kid sister?
I don't know how I put her down. Face first, back first, I don't know.
Despite his confessions with Army investigators, including a taped reenactment inside the apartment, Krull believes the jury saw that Jimmy was being prompted to tell a story that wasn't true. One of Jimmy's co-workers announced the verdict on an AFN broadcast.
A general courts marshal at 5th Corps headquarters in Frankfurt this evening has found Specialist 4 Jimmy Crisco, assigned to the American Forces Network Europe, not guilty in the drowning death of his sister, 20-year-old Tracy McMath.
After he was freed, Jimmy tried convincing the Army to find the real killer. In 1991, Schultes wrote an impassioned letter to the Army referencing the unidentified crime scene fingerprints in the apartment bathroom and on the phone the killer used in a chilling call to Tracy's friend.
My belief is they could run those prints in rapid order and match and catch who the killer or killers are.
We just want the Army to test the DNA if it's still there, and run the fingerprints if it's still available that were found at the crime scene. If the Army just bites their ego just a little bit and test this stuff, we might be able to find out who killed Tracy.
Harrell isn't ready to name names, but he believes the Army overlooked some people that may have been involved with Tracy's murder. This March, he received a response from the Army Criminal Investigation Command in Quantico, Virginia. It says CID special agents have initiated a review of the investigation to ensure everything is being accomplished to address the concerns mentioned in your letter.
I hope that David can get the right people to open the doors so we can find that person who took our loved one away from us.
Tracy's murder happened many years ago in a country thousands of miles away, but it's still the Army's case, and David Harrell believes they can solve it so that Tracy, who was buried back home, can finally rest in peace. Over the phone, Wayne McMath told me that Tracy was already a great wife and was going to make a great mother. He says she planned to enlist in the military too, and that eventually they would move back home to Strathmore. CID special agents are reviewing the case but have not officially reopened it. They say they stand ready to reopen it if warranted. In Strathmore, Brian Johnson, ABC30, Action News.
Thank you for watching. For more videos like this from ABC30, just make sure to hit that subscribe button below.